Now let's delve into the critiques and responses of Marxist and critical theory. First off, let us discuss some critiques of Marxism. First is the economic arguments in terms of failure of predictions. The predicted collapse of capitalism and the dominance of monopolies did not occur, casting doubt on central Marxist thesis. Next is the economic calculation problem. A planned economy lacks market price signals, hindering efficient resource allocation. We also have reduced incentives, eliminating private property, and competition diminishes incentives for innovation and hard work, potentially leading to economic stagnation. We also have political and social arguments. Under historical determinism, Marxism's deterministic view of history overlooks human agency and all alternative social structures. And we also have totalitarianism, in which it is all about implementing Marxist ideas has often resulted in authoritarian regimes and the suppression of individual rights. We also have complex social structure. The simple ideas struggle model is outdated. Modern societies have diverse social classes and groups. It also delves into the philosophical and methodological arguments. It is all about unfalsifiable theories. Marxist theories are sometimes too vague to disprove, with failures explained away through dialectal interpretation. And lastly, we also have a misinterpretation of history, in which critics argues that capitalism's rise was influenced by factors beyond economic forces, such as Calvinist ethics. Let's explore the responses of Marxist theory. The responses to Marxist theory varied widely, from strong support to critical rejection. First, we have supportive responses. Early Marxists promoted and defended Marxist principles. We also have revolutionary movements like Leninism adapted Marxism to specific contexts, leading to communist states. We also have social change, advocates that inspired movements for social justice and economic equality. In terms of critical responses, first we have Eurocentrism. It is all about accusations of imposing Western models on non-Western societies. We also have Afro-pessimism, in which it argues Marxism fails to address the unique suffering of black people due to racism. Critique of ideology. It suggests sociology of knowledge may neutralize and betray Marxism. We also have economic critics, in which the claims Marxist economics are unsustainable, citing the collapse of Marxist states. In terms of academic and intellectual responses, we have Western Marxism. It critiques both capitalism and state socialism, focusing on culture and individual liberty. Next is Marxist humanist. It emphasizes humanism, alienation, and emancipation in Marx's early works. And lastly, influence on social sciences. Marxist concepts are integral to sociology, political science, and cultural studies. Now let's tackle the critiques and responses of critical theory. These are some common critiques of critical theory. First is it is overly negative and impractical. Critics say it's too focused on power, imbalances, and offers few real-world solutions. This leads to skepticism without practical application. Next is elitist and limited. It can be inaccessible and fails to engage with diverse perspectives like queer or post-colonial thought. This limits its relevance and applicability. And lastly, for the critic of critical theory, we have simplistic and lacks standards, in which critical theory may oversimplify consumer behavior and lacks clear standards to prove its superiority. This undermines its credibility. Moving on, let us now focus on responses and counter-arguments in the critical theory. First is focus on praxis and incorporation. Modern theories emphasizes practical action and integrate new perspectives, like postcolonialism. This aims to make the theory more relevant and inclusive. Next is focus on recognition and revisiting negativism. Some advocate for social recognition, while others revisit earlier negative aspects. This balances idealization with critical analysis. And lastly, broader application. Critical theory is now being applied to areas like curriculum development for ongoing analysis. This expands its practical impact. That's all for the responses and critiques of Marxist and critical theory.
Good day everyone! I'm going to tackle about the sample analysis of Marxist and critical theory analysis of The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. It helps us look beyond the story's romance and tragedy to see the deeper social forces at work. These theories guide readers to question how power, wealth, and social class shape people's lives and beliefs. When applied to The Great Gatsby, both theories reveal that the novel is not just about love and ambition, but about class struggle, inequality, and the false promises of the American dream. Fitzgerald's setting symbolizes the social structure. East Egg represents old money and inherited wealth. West Egg stands for new money and self-made success. And the Valley of Ashes represents the working class who live in poverty and hopelessness. Gatsby, who rise from a poor background to become rich, dreams of being accepted by the upper class and winning Disney's love. However, no matter how much money he still earns, the wealthy still treat him as an outsider because he was not born into their social circle. This shows that in a capitalist society, wealth alone cannot erase class barriers. The rich, such as Tom and Daisy Buchanan, enjoy privilege and protection, while the poor, like George and Myrtle Wilson, remain trapped in hardship. Gabby's fortune is gained through illegal means, reflecting how power and wealth often come from corruption rather than honest labor. Meanwhile, the working class characters suffer from the effects of industrialization and social neglect. The Valley of Ashes is a symbol of how the rich build their luxury in the backs of the poor. Myrtle Wilson's tragic death shows how the poor are treated as disposable in a system that values wealth above human life. Through this lens, Fitzgerald's novel became a criticism of capitalism. It exposes the illusion of the American dream, which promises success through hard work but ignores the social and economic barriers that make true equality possible. From a critical theory perspective, the story can be seen as a reflection of how society shapes people's desires and beliefs. Critical theory asks not only what happens in the story, but also why it happens and who benefits from it. In Gatsby's world, people are taught to believe that happiness and worth come from wealth and status. Gatsby's dream of winning Daisy is not just about love, it is shaped by the social idea that success means owning beautiful things and being admired. The grand parties, luxurious cars, and expensive clothes all represent a culture that values appearances over reality. These images distract characters from moral emptiness and personal dissatisfaction. This is what critical theorists call false consciousness, when people are blinded by the illusion of success and fail to see the deeper problems of inequality and exploitation about them. Critical theory also helps us see how institutions and social norms support inequality. For example, Daisy stays with Tom even though he is unfaithful because she values comfort, safety, and social respectability. The law and moral system protect people like Tom and Daisy while punishing or ignoring those like Gatsby and Myrtle. This shows how power operates not only through money but also through culture, by making the rich seem naturally superior and their actions acceptable. The novel encourages readers to question these values and realize that society's idea of success is built on exclusion and injustice. When we combine both Marxist and critical theory readings, we understand that The Great Gatsby is more than a story of unfulfilled love. It is a critique of a world driven by greed and class division. Marxist analysis exposes how wealth determines power and opportunity, while critical theory reveals how social beliefs make people accept and even admire this unfair system. Together, they show how the novel reflects the emptiness of the American dream and the moral decay that comes from chasing wealth. Fitzgerald's story reminds us that money cannot buy love, respect, or true happiness, and that a society obsessed with wealth will continue to divide and destroy itself from within.